Two, one.
Hello, everybody. My name is Richard Wishart, and I run an independent consultancy on technology and social media. I've got Julie Bishop on the call today on this video, and Julie's very kindly offered to explain social recruitment to me. I've been in business for many years, and I'm familiar with the old style recruitment. I'm familiar with new social media, but the term social recruitment, I think I need a little bit of explanation and a bit of training. So, welcome, Julia, to the call.
Hello, Richard. How are you?
Very well, thank you. It's great to be able to have this chat about social media and social recruitment. Do you want to just explain a little bit about Jobhop and what your involvement is within the social media world?
Absolutely. Okay, so Jobhop is an online platform. What I try to do is connect employers to digital talents, young digital talents, who are mainly on Facebook. And this young digital talent tend not to go on LinkedIn too much. So Jobhop is a professional networking site with employment in mind, but it has a fun aspect as well to it that pleases the young generation. And as well as that, I go into companies and I show companies how to attract top talent using social media.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. There's certainly the younger generation is very much into Twitter and Facebook. Maybe not Twitter so much, but Facebook, and they probably don't understand the more business tools like LinkedIn and Google Plus, etc. So there is definitely a gap in the market. So if you're covering that gap, it's really good. Do you within the recruitment side, do you have a sort of geographical patch or particular industries that you focus on within what you do?
There isn't, well, saying the actual locality of it, it is a UK platform, so it's not global. My mission is to keep our talents within the UK as much as we possibly can. So, yeah, it's all across the UK. When it comes to what type of talent, as before I said, it is the young generation, and that generation tends to be very digitally aware. What's happening within companies now, they understand that they have to be up to speed with technology, and they have to understand how to market themselves online so they can communicate with the people of now and with the people of the future. So that's the type of people I tend to work with. So it's young generation who are digitally aware and they know how to use technology. And I work with employers that understand that they really do need to employ this new energy into their workforce, into their companies.
Well, that's fantastic. So you're bridging the generations.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, with regards to the two different types of people, the young generation and I'd say Generation X, or your Y, your X, and then your older generation, there is that sort of like mentoring going on where the young generation really want to understand business skills and how to operate within these organisations, where our elder employers want to understand digital skills and how to market themselves online.
Okay, good. No, well, okay, Julie, that's a good introduction to the topic. Let's dive in now. Let's take a deep dive, but take me slowly down through it. Through social recruitment, give me some of the basics. Give me some orientation in this world, in this new world.
Okay, social recruitment, as now you know, it is using social media, and what we try to do is get companies to understand that we are attracting and we are sourcing. Many people think it's just about distribution, where it's about posting jobs online. So you'll see, especially on Twitter now, that many jobs are just posted out on Twitter. And many people think that is just social recruitment. However, the sourcing and the attraction is the major key elements in it, because we want companies to understand how to attract top talent and how to retain top talent, and how to source. So we show them how to go after what we call the passive candidate, somebody that may be working at their competitors who hadn't even thought about getting another job. And we show them how to connect with them, build relationships with them, and then hopefully when the time comes and the time's right, that person will think about moving to that company.
Okay. So how does this compare with, I don't know, how does this compare with traditional methods? My opinion, I don't know whether I'm right or not, but I think it's a bit broken, the recruitment markets, with these big job boards and recruitment companies. It's just too difficult. It's just an ecosystem that doesn't work. Am I right, or am I?
It is. Yeah, you are right. What we try to show companies is how to build communities. So instead of the old-fashioned ways, talent pools, we try to get them to build talent communities. With a talent pool, what used to happen, they would advertise a job, and somebody would apply for that job. Perhaps they didn't get the job. When they didn't get the job, they would be put onto some database. Now, no interaction has gone on with that person at all. They've been put into what they call a talent pool. So maybe 6 months down the line, no engagement has gone on whatsoever, and then they may get a call out of the blue saying, we've got another position, would you be interested? Talent communities is ongoing all the time. We show companies how to attract and source talent into one community where they're continuously nurturing those relationships, engaging with them, getting the community to understand the whole culture of the company, the ethics of the company, and engaging with the employees of that company as well. So when the time comes for that company to eventually have a position, they have a great community of talent that they can actually cherry pick from.
So this is a bit like a fish pond, isn't it? If you've got a fish pond with only one little fish in it, you're not going to be very successful. But if you can actually fill it with fish and feed the fish and nurture the fish,
it's about feeding the fish, Richard.
Yeah,
so you're having this pond of fish, and you're continuously looking after the fish. So definitely you have to look after them. You're literally putting your arms around them and loving them, so they don't ever think about wanting to work anywhere else. So you have to get them to think that you are always the preferred employer. They want to work for you. When you look at some organisations that do it well, you'll see that they tend not to have to advertise. They'll always have people wanting to work there, and that's because they've given out the right message about the culture, the ethics, they're continuously engaging in the right communities, and they're building great talent communities up. So that's what we try to get companies to do.
So if you, I mean, I know your area is social media, so would you, for instance, create a talent pool or a group or whatever you want to call it, community of people who are interested in jobs in social media, nurture that with what's happening, and then when it comes time for a company to say, yes, we're looking for someone, you can help them, you can just pull or go straight to the right sort of people that you've nurtured and grown within that pool. So you're creating something about location, something about industry, something about where they are within that industry. Is that a good?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's everything. I mean, like when you look at a company's website, for example. I mean, this is very, very basic, but many companies get this completely wrong. When you go to the website, if the website has a vacancies page, which is awful. They should have really a careers page. But sometimes you'll come to a website and will say vacancies page. You'll go to that vacancies page, and I've seen it many times. They'll just have no vacancies. So that's terrible.
So the vacancy sheet is vacant.
Oh, it's terrible. What they should have there is, it should be called a careers page. When a possible candidate lands on that careers page, it should all be about the company, why they should work there, the benefits of working there. If it's in a beautiful location, that should be on there as well. So you're creating that candidate really wants to work there. They may not have any vacancies then and there, but that candidate's then thinking, right, this is the place that I'd like to work at. Perhaps have on that careers page the whole recruitment process, so the candidate knows exactly what the recruitment process is. Perhaps they should have on that careers page the employees that work there and what they do in their day-to-day work life, so they get a feel for what it is like to work at that particular place.
Right. Okay, that's cool. And is there a role for the sort of stuff I do, where I have I'm very active in social media, and I've got a couple of LinkedIn groups and a couple of Google Plus communities within my sectors, and I'm flagged a little bit by, certainly on LinkedIn, they have this tab that says jobs. So where you've got a group of people who are almost self-selecting, like industry CEOs and leaders in the postal innovation world, or people in identification solutions, so that within those sectors and a particular level within that, should I be looking to get jobs from that industry into that pool, into that group, and start introducing them to the recruitment concept? Because these groups are the key people within that industry, and they must be interested in flexibility or moving to other jobs within that industry as well. So is that something I should be looking at, or is that not really, does that not really fit?
No, but that's another thing. It's like a job board within a group, and yeah, I have a social media group on LinkedIn, and within that group, there's a job board which displays jobs related back to social media. So yeah, that's just another part of social recruitment. It's a very small part of social recruitment. Yeah, I mean, of course, you can pull in those jobs. I mean, job boards can work. They aren't as popular as they used to be. Social recruitment, where you're creating communities, works a lot better. I don't like to sort of like say negative things about job boards, but on some job boards you can find that jobs are stale, they haven't been taken off. For the employers, that they can be bombarded by CVs, and they're not actually building relationships up with possible candidates. And also, with many employers, they actually would like to find somebody that has the talent that's actually probably working at their competitors. So to them, a passive candidate is a lot more attractive than somebody that is active.
All right. Okay.
So yeah.
So I'm not thinking disruptively enough. You're thinking at a slightly different level, and I think you're right. I mean, you are right in the sort of concept. I set up a Google Plus community for our local college yesterday, and I'm trying to get businesses and students into that community. But obviously, the back of their head as students, they're looking for employment. Mm-hmm. So one of the things is how do you prepare yourself in the social world for that employment? Does your profile on LinkedIn or Google Plus, is that effectively your CV? I mean, what should you be doing to make yourself, your profile, or whatever, your engagement? How do you improve that for yourself?
The first thing you have to do is look at any digital dirt. So you go onto the internet and just make sure that there's nothing that's going to go against you, that's going to be negative for you. I mean, for instance, there was a case not so long ago with the youth commissioner, Paris Brown. She got a position in the police force as sort of like the spokesperson for our young generation. Yes, and then afterwards, they found out that she'd done many negative comments, racist and homophobic comments, and eventually she lost her position. Yeah. So, the first thing that anybody must do is to go and clean up any digital dirt.
I hadn't heard that expression before. That's a neat one.
Okay, yeah. So any comments that you put out there that could be looked at negatively, any groups that you belong to that an employer would think, well, that's not the type of person we want to employ here. Photographs, of course, is a big one. Make sure you're untagged from any photographs. That puts you in a very bad light. and also, you know, just make sure your spelling is correct and your grammar, because that's another thing they look at. So digital dirt is the first one. Now, some people will say, well, actually, perhaps I won't put anything out there on the internet, and that way, you know, I can't trip myself up. An employer these days would expect to find something about you. It can go against you if you don't have anything about you. So what you want to do is feed the internet with good, positive stuff about you. So if you do blog, if you do start groups up, and you tweet regularly, great comments. If you are in a particular sector, try and work it that you become a position of authority, so you're putting out good tips and knowledge so people will understand that's what you're about. You don't have to go out and create a website or anything like that, but just make sure that you get known for what it is that you want to get found for. Right. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. So should you be, for instance, getting your profile on LinkedIn up to the high quality levels, you know, so it does an assessment of the quality of your profile, is that?
Absolutely, yeah. LinkedIn, maximize your profile, make sure that you get plenty of keywords into your profile. So once you know what it is you want to do, which sometimes is people's most hardest point, so I tell everyone to drill right down and what it is, what you want to be found for. So you want to attract those certain employers. Once you understand that, then you can get the relevant keywords into your profile. LinkedIn is a business networking platform, so you have to understand that. It has to be professional, and once you've done your profile, then you start connecting. Connect to the people that you want to work with. If you can't get directly to the major decision makers, go to the company pages and start connecting with the employees that work there, who will eventually be able to get you in front of those certain employers. Start chatting in groups. At first, some people may be a bit worried about chatting in groups, but go into groups and just watch and listen to the discussions that go on, and then gradually join in. You want to be found. So ideally, you want to join in those discussions, right. And so by being found, you need to attract, and then you need to go and source those people that you want to start chatting with.
Okay, so it's about attraction, it's about source, it's about having your profile and all the aspects you've just mentioned actually up to date, and thinking about yourself as somebody who's someone's looking to recruit.
Yeah, it's all about now marketing yourself. When I speak to people and they say to me, I want a job, you have to say, right, okay, what job is it you want? Who is it you want to work for? Who is your preferred employer? Once you know all of that, is right, okay, then now we need to start marketing you so that you are found by that particular person, or you get into that community, so when a job becomes available, they think of you. So you really have to think with your marketing head on.
Okay, so I think this social recruitment is really interesting, and you've obviously got it hacked in terms of understanding the way you get involved in it. But how much of the overall recruitment market now is social, and how much is it traditional? I mean, people probably dabble with the social, but maybe they're not taking it quite seriously as you are. So can you give us a feel for where the overall recruitment market now is, and where social fits within that? Is it sort of like 5% or 10%, or, you know, I've got absolutely no idea.
I think with any industry at the moment, that technology is changing everything, and you will see it with recruitment agencies, and any business, not just recruitment agencies, that do not evolve with how technology is changing communication will not be around. So they have to understand that communication is done with technology. I mean, social media has been around 20 years. You know, it's not something that's just going to disappear. It's going to grow and grow and grow. And recruitment agencies, as any other business, has to understand that and has to change. They have to embrace change. And, you know, if we took the recruitment agents on the high street who puts their ads in the paper. Yeah, some still put the ads in the paper and in the window, and they put the board out on the high street and hope that someone passing is going to be fitting that job and come into the shop to register. If they continue like that, well, we're not going to see them for much longer.
So this whole ecosystem is changing because of these disruptive trends. Is that fair? And the recruitment as we know it on the high street and the way we people like myself understand it has actually shifted completely, and you're now targeting the up-and-coming generation and converting them into potential candidates for industry. And if we don't get this as employers or as people in business, we're going to be missing out on the best
Absolutely,
talent.
yeah. I mean, communication's changed, and it's changing even more. That's that, and businesses have to understand that. And if we look at Generation Y, I think there's 14 million of them in the UK. They are our largest workforce. So we have to understand how they're communicating with each other, and we have to understand how they would want other people to communicate. When they do any research on companies, they're doing it all online. Research is done online. I think 90% of searches are done through Google. If they're not finding those companies, then to them, those companies don't exist. So we have to understand all of that. We need to retain talent in the UK. We need to keep them, so we have to understand how they're communicating. I was speaking to someone not so long ago who said to me that he didn't need to do social media because he just wants engineers. He's an engineering company and he just needs engineers. So I said, but where do you think your engineers are chatting at the moment? They're chatting online, so we need to connect with them, and then once you've connected with them, you'll be able to bring them into your company and show them what you can do. But you need to use the internet to attract them. But because he just thought he wanted engineers, he thought engineers wouldn't use social media, wouldn't use technology. Yeah, they do.
Of course they do. Of course they do. The world has changed, and I think that what you're telling me about social, I think I'm now educated about social recruitment and what you do, Julie. And I know you're very active in social media yourself. I see your website link at the bottom of the page. How best for people to find you and see what you're saying and connecting with you personally?
Right, okay, Richard, I'm everywhere. So yeah, you can connect with me on Twitter, Jobhop Julie. You can go to the website. You can connect with me via old-fashioned email, julie@jobhop.co.uk. LinkedIn, I'm over at LinkedIn. Pinterest, wherever you, Facebook, wherever you think actually I prefer to chat on that platform, I'll be there and I can chat with you on that platform.
Okay, good. And maybe I've really enjoyed this hangout on air, and you helped me with one a while back. So we ought to keep active on this channel together and maybe make some more of these videos, because I've certainly educated me, and I'll use this video when I put it up on my social media to start educating my industry. So. Big thank you to you.
I absolutely love Google Hangouts on Air. I mean, this is another way where companies could use Google Hangouts on Air or just Google Hangouts to interview. Just actually having a group together to chat about the company and what they're looking for. So this is another tool for companies to use.
Yeah, I mean, the world has changed completely, and we've now got to think in different ways. So it's now disruptive. The technologies now are driving completely different ways of working, ways of thinking. So thank you very much. I
really love it, though, don't you, Richard?
Oh, I do. I mean, you learn something every day. And today I've learned about social recruitment. So thank you very much, Julia. I really appreciate it.
And thank you, Richard.
Okay, cheers.
Bye-bye.